So I'm going to dive into the truth about expired listings. I started my career on expired listings. It was certainly a different market than it was now. It was 10, 11 years ago when I went full time. And I really dove in. I was calling expired listings, older expireds. I went back as far as 5, 6, 7 years on the market for expireds, and I learned a lot throughout the process. There's 3 things I want to talk about in this video that I don't think get talked about enough, and I believe having an understanding of these 3 things is critical to helping an agent be successful on expireds and see if they want to put the time in. What I notice is agents tend to jump ship too early. They try calling expireds for a few weeks, it doesn't work, and they stop, or they get discouraged by some of the things that we're going to talk about in this video, and they quit. Where if they knew going in what to expect, they could decide not to put in the effort at all, or they could decide this is just part of the process and keep going. So before I dive in, if it's helpful, click subscribe. That's how I know if the content that I'm sharing resonates and if I should make more of it. And if you have questions, I'm always happy to help as well. So let's get into it. 3 reasons, 3 things that no one tells you about expired listings. The first thing I wrote down is these are difficult people. Not all of them, but one of the main reasons a property expires is because the seller's difficult. They think they know better than the agent. They want to do it their own way, even though they're not the agent. And a lot of times that way is the wrong way, and the property doesn't sit. It could have been the way they wanted to do the showing process. It could have been the price. It could have been just the communication, how hard it is to get a showing in, or how hard it is to communicate with the seller, maybe their lack of response. But oftentimes these listings, it's not happy conversations when you're meeting them. A lot of these times they can be standoffish, or they can be verbally harsh in their conversations, or straight to the point. And it makes for relationships that a lot of agents just shy away from, right? They get that friction, and they want to go put their energy elsewhere. And I don't blame you. If this is something that's a sticking point for you, maybe it's not a road you want to travel. But keep it in mind, because sometimes the road less traveled has a better reward at the end, which we'll get to later in the video. But understand going in that it might be a little difficult, especially in the beginning, until you kind of rewire their expectations or customer service. Because some of the time a seller is difficult is because the agent actually was not professional. The agent gave him bad advice. The agent lied to him. The agent gave him the wrong price. The agent didn't do anything. And now that seller, their guard's up. So they might be difficult, but their guard is up because the agent that they had prior gave them such a bad experience. So there could be lots of reasons for it, but understand there's a strong possibility that expired listing might be a difficult prospect in one form or another, a difficult new client in one form or another. So know that going in, because that could help with your strategy. Number 2, I wrote down, oftentimes the expired listing doesn't sell immediately when you relist it. A lot of times an expired was off on price and they're reluctant to get to the right price. Maybe they'll inch their way down and they want to try it systematically. Or maybe it's a funky house. Maybe it's, in a unique location, or has something really unique about it that makes it hard to sell. That's a reason homes expire too. And when you relist it, it doesn't always sell magically, right? So these top 2 reasons, agents are like, well, the home's not going to sell right away. They're a difficult person to work with. I do not want anything to do with these types of listings, right? Or agents do a couple and then they're like, yeah, no, that's not worth it for me, right? But here's number 3. And this is really one of the most important things about expired listings. They can be your most loyal, most referring clients if you get them a win and you do it the right way. if you learn to manage the difficulty, create some systems that client can count on, treat them with respect, even when maybe they're not giving it to you in the beginning, you can slowly change their mind about agents. You can slowly get them to be open-minded and see that you're different and that you care. Now, when you do that and you actually do sell your home, and believe me, even when you get it pending, sometimes this can be a tough relationship. They want to blame. Not all the time, but it happens. But when you get to that finish line, and even more importantly, when you call them and keep in touch with them for years after the finish line, this shows your character. This shows that you weren't just in it for a quick sale. These people that was this long process, because it was so long and because it was difficult, you had to have your problem-solving abilities on display at the highest. Those people are now going to refer you like no one else if you do it the right way. If you do it the right way with patience, understanding, compassion, putting them first, dealing with understanding where their anger might be coming from, and still giving them your A effort, I'm telling you, it's worth every challenge in the process, because that is your marketing. When you have a listing that you sold that didn't sell the first time around, and then you have that person backing you, that is very powerful for your business. Not only did you do right by that client, but that good karma goes a long way in your business moving forward. So if this is a process that scares you or you don't think is worth the effort, no hard feelings. At least you know what to expect going in. Because if you think it's going to be easy, you're going to pick up the phone. They're going to say, oh, thank goodness you called. Come on over. And the home sells. That is absolutely not going to happen. There are all types of agents calling them from all types of track records, all types of services. It's like the wild, wild west. There's people telling them things. Like if you put yourself in the seller's shoes, it's hard for them to know what to believe or not. So when you have an understanding of that, you can not only serve them better, but you can put your business in a better position moving forward. Hope this helps.